Hello and welcome back to another Football Commentaries live stream in another edition of Monday Night Football in the Premier League. Manchester United host Bournemouth at Old Trafford as both sides look to try and gain 3 points and jump up the Premier League table. The Red Devils under Ruben Amorim are currently looking towards the European places after just 4 defeats in their opening 15 so far in the league. Last time out, a week ago at Molineux, a Fernandes double with goals from Bournemouth and Mount helped United gather all 3 points against bottom place Wolves. For the Cherries, after a thrilling start to the season with just 1 defeat in their opening 9, they are in a deep drought in terms of looking for a win. They have failed to win in their last 6 in the Premier League, with their last win being a 2-0 result against Forest at the Vitality back on the 26th of October. A win tonight for Iraola's side would see them climb up closer to the top half of the table. Just under 12 months ago, saw Bournemouth win this fixture at Old Trafford for just the second time in their history. Goals from Solanke, Billing and Senesi gave the Cherries a famous win in Greater Manchester. The next meeting, though, on the coast was a 1-1 draw with a 96th minute equaliser from Rasmus Højlund, which stole a point for United after the Cherries had gone down to 10 men in the second half of that game. With both teams having European ambitions come the end of the season, can Amorim find a first win over Bournemouth, or will Iraola maintain his unbeaten record against tonight's opposition? And as it stands, Ruben Amorim has never won against Bournemouth, and Iraola has never lost against Manchester United. It's 2 wins for Iraola, and they've both come at Old Trafford, and then 2 draws against them, which have both come at the Vitality. So an interesting head-to-head, clearly. The Spaniard having the better of the battles when Amorim and Iraola clashed together. Interestingly enough, didn't know this until doing some research for the game, Andoni Iraola's contract for Bournemouth actually expires at the end of this season, and I'm sure there'll be plenty of Premier League teams kind of keeping the Spaniard on their radar in terms of maybe a new potential manager come the summer. It's a bit of a sticky one for Bournemouth because, of course, they've got that feeling around the team of growth and improvement. Finishing 9th last season, they've just recently opened their new £32 million state-of-the-art training ground, which was completed in April of this year. So they're clearly going in the right direction, but there is that caveat of having to sell on the players that they are bringing in and making better. You know, in the summer was the prime examples. Zabarnyi to PSG, £54.5 million. Højlund to Real Madrid for £50 million. Kerkez for £40 million to Liverpool. So that's kind of maybe where there's going to be a frustration for Iraola in terms of he's allowed to bring in young talent for a decent fee, but if a even better fee comes along 1 season or 2 seasons after, Bournemouth are probably going to go and accept them and cash in and make their profit. So maybe they're just in a bit of limbo at the moment for Ruben Amorim in terms of transfers he's been allowed to spend as well. This summer, their main focus was, of course, on the front line, and they've brought in Premier League quality, and proven quality, of course, Bryan Mbeumo for £65 million as an initial fee. He's got 5 Premier League goals in his last 8, but this is his last game before he goes off to the Africa Cup of Nations. They've also brought in Matheus Cunha from Wolves, £62.5 million. He's only got the 1 goal so far for Manchester United, and that was at home to Brighton on the 25th of October. And he's not scored in any of his last 4 that he's played in, Matheus Cunha, but we know the complete quality the Brazilian has. And for Bournemouth, with their transfers, they've kind of just had to replace what left, bringing in Bafode Diakite at centre-back to replace, one of the replacements for Højlund or Zabarnyi, because Marcus Senesi's had to kind of step up as one of the other centre-backs. He's been at Bournemouth for quite a few years now, and they've also brought in Adrien Truffert from Stade Rennes in France, £14.4 million, about £25 million less than what they sold Kerkez for. He started every Premier League game so far this season, the French full-back, and he starts again tonight. And he's only been subbed off once, and that was in their battering away at Villa at the beginning of November. So I think this is definitely going to be a very interesting game because Manchester United aren't exactly in inspiring form, but they're picking points up, which is the most important. They've actually had 1 loss in their last 9, since that away defeat to Brentford at the end of September. But there's been a lot of draws and a lot of frustrating draws, the likes of, West Ham at home is a standout draw. Of course, losing to Everton at home as well not too long ago. Last time I was here was for United versus Coventry. That's a while ago. United against Coventry. That was I enjoyed that commentary. It was a shame how it ended, that game. I thought Coventry were going to do that when they scored in extra time. Of course, it was disallowed, but it is going to be a game where Manchester United fans expect their team to win, of course, but this Bournemouth team can't be underestimated. Yes, they're in a massive dip of form at the moment. They've not won in any of their last 6 games, the Cherries, but that's got to turn at some point. And Bournemouth will want that to be today. They've got nothing to lose, really, in terms of coming to Old Trafford. They'll know they're the underdogs. They'll know they'll have the crowd against them. But if they can try and get the crowd against the United players, anything could happen. So both sets of players emerge from the tunnel onto the pitch, led out by the referee Simon Hooper and his 2 assistants of Adrian Holmes and Simon Long. And for the likes of Brian Mburmo, for the likes of Mburmo and Ahmad, this will be their last game before they go off to the eventually we can start again. We're going to quickly go through the lineups. Manchester United make one change from their last game, which was that win away at Wolves. Senna Lomans remains in goal, back 3 of Lenny Yoro, Aidan Heaven and Luke Shaw. That's where their one change comes from. Mazraoui is out, Yoro comes in. 4 in the midfield at right wing back is going to be Ahmad. On the left will be Diogo Dalot, who scored his first league goal in their last home game against West Ham. 2 in the middle of Bruno Fernandes and Casemiro. 3 up front. Off the right will be Brighton Mburmo. Off the left, it looks like it with Mason Mount. And playing through the middle will be Matheus Cunha. For Bournemouth, they make one change themselves, and it is in midfield. So the back 5 of the goalkeeper and the back 4 stay the same. George Petrovic in goal, brought in for £25 million in the summer from Chelsea. Back 4 of Adam Smith, Bafode Diakite, Marcos Senesi and Adrian Truffert make up that back 4. 2 older midfielder, Tyler Adams returns after having a yellow card suspension for the game against Chelsea last time out. He'll play alongside Marcus Tavernier, who's already equalled his Premier League goal tally from last season, with 3 coming against West Ham, Forest and Wolves, all of them at home. And the 3 behind the striker on the right will be Alex Jimenez, who's currently on loan from AC Milan, but there is an option to buy of £16.5 million. Off the left will be Anton Semenyo, who will not be going to the Africa Cup of Nations due to Ghana's failure to qualify for the competition. In the number 10 position, making his 80th Premier League appearance, and that will be Justin Kluivert. He's just got the 1 goal so far this season in the league, and that was off the bench against Fulham in a 3-1 home win back in game week 7. And up front, leading the line, will be Evan Nilsson, who was sent off the last time these two sides met at the Vitality in late April. That was when Bournemouth were 1-0 up. Manchester United went on to equalise in the 96th minute. And in that game, when they last met, it was all Manchester United. Man United having 25 shots compared to Bournemouth's 8. So they were rather unlucky to only pick up the point in that one. But Bournemouth have a great record here at Old Trafford in recent times. In their last 2 victories, in their last 2 visits, they picked up 2 victories. And they'll be looking to make that 3 in a row. But for Manchester United, they have got some improvements to make at home. No wins in their last 2 at home. Drawing to West Ham late on and then losing to Everton as well. And it will be Bournemouth to kick us off, kicking right to left. Manchester United left to right. Bournemouth in their blue away kit as Senesi sends it long into the final third, down the right-hand side, headed towards the edge of the box where it's cleared away by Yoro. It'll be given chase to by Diakite, who will keep it in for the away side and force it back to his goalkeeper, Petrovic, who's been chased down here by Mount. Clears it first time in a full yellow goalkeeper kit tonight, George Petrovic. As it's Adams to head it on. Flicked away by Casemiro. Dummied by Mbermo to Cunha. Comes off the hand of Senesi potentially. Referee says no. And play is allowed to continue as Bournemouth start to break away down the left-hand side. Jimenez on the left wing, playing it into the middle towards Tavernier. Can't quite get it under control. Cleared away on the edge of the area by Shaw to the halfway line to Senesi. And it is Bournemouth who are back in possession at Old Trafford. It's a high ball in towards the edge of the 18-yard box. And it's a catch for Lommans. The long ball there by Senesi, nowhere near Evan Nilsson. And it can be dropped to the floor by the Belgian goalkeeper. Senna Lommans, who's still waiting for another clean sheet. He's only picked up 1 so far for Manchester United, and that was on his debut against Sunderland as a ball into midfield is dummied by Fernandes, then played through towards Ahmad, who will latch onto the ball in behind. Slips it through for Mbermo, the angle's tight. Back heels it to Fernandes, who shoots himself, comes off a hand. Referee waves it away, cleared by Truffert. And it will be kept in on the far side for Manchester United. I'm assuming VAR will have a check for that handball. Fernandes to Mount, crossfield ball looking for Cunha. Finds him, plays it into the path for Casemiro. Twisting, turning, Cunha takes back over once more and the shot deflects out for a corner. Simon Hooper waves that penalty shout away. VAR's had a look. No, it's comes off the foot of Diakite onto the chest of Truffert, then onto his hand. That would have been a very harsh penalty. Not a lot he could have done about that at all. But a brilliant piece of build-up play. It was Dallo with the ball into the midfield, and the dummy from Fernandes was beautiful. It allowed Cunha to just sweep the ball along to Ahmad, who then slips it through from Burmo, but he just went behind the former Brentford man, which then meant he had to back heel it to Fernandes. Then the shot came off an arm. It was eventually cleared, and United went again, and it was Cunha with the final shot. That did come off a Bournemouth man of Tyler Adams. And with 2.5 minutes played at Old Trafford, it's a lively start. But it's still 0-0. There is a Bournemouth player down, and I think it might be Tyler Adams who blocked that shot. Potentially may have jarred his knee when getting in the way of the Cunha attempt. Missed their last game against Chelsea last weekend, Tyler Adams, with that yellow card suspension. Won Premier League goal of the month as well for November with his spectacular attempt away at Sunderland. It was a long ranger catching out Robin Roofs. As it looks like their only change from that game against Chelsea last weekend is going to be reversed. Alex Scott's the one who's been dropped to the bench for Tyler Adams, who's returned. And it looks like Tyler Adams' game is going to be cut short. Yeah, maybe the ankle's kind of twisted with the impact of the shot onto the foot because it's from quite close quarters. He's hobbling off at the moment, the American. Does look like the physio was suggesting the change to be made, and I think it will have to. It's going to be an early introduction for Alex Scott, potentially. He is ready to go if needed. Of course, Tyler Adams will want to continue because we've not even hit the 4th minute yet. So they're going to have to defend this corner a man down. It's going to be a left-footed in-swinger from Ahmad from the Manchester United right. And it goes in it all the way through and missed by everyone, and it's a goal kick. Petrovic in no man's land as he came for that towards the near post. He was kind of blocked off by Dallo, which meant he couldn't really properly go for the ball. Kind of swept a hand at it. It's not the most convincing of goalkeeping from Petrovic, the Serbian. As unfortunately, Tyler Adams, who missed last weekend's game due to a yellow card suspensions, had to be swapped straight back out at the beginning of this game. So it is the same starting 11 now for Bournemouth. to their last game against Chelsea. Alex Scott comes on. He's now featured in every game so far this season for Bournemouth in all competitions. Was granted an England call-up in the last international break. Alex Scott, he's got the one league goal so far this season. That was in a 2-1 home win to Brighton in the middle of September. He made it 1-0 that day. And it was just the second game he's been on the bench this season, Alex Scott. The other game was when they went away to Leeds towards the end of September, as the ball's back in play. Right centre-back for United with Lenny Yoro in Bournemouth, trying a first-time pass towards Ahmad, cut out by Trufair, works it to Semenyo, inside to Clivert, on once more now to Tavernier, can't quite rework it to Clivert, but he's been bundled to the floor by Mount, and that will be a free kick for Bournemouth just inside the Manchester United half. Well, won there by Marcus Tavernier, who was rewarded with a new contract in the summer until 2029. Coming up towards a century of appearances in the Premier League, Marcus Tavernier hit 100 appearances for Bournemouth in their 3-1 away defeat to Manchester City at the start of November in their other trip to Manchester so far this season. They'll want a different result this time around, as there's a foul on Ahmad by Semenyo as the short free kick from Bournemouth was unsuccessful. And it's with Senna Lomans to the edge of the area to Casemiro, beating the first line of the Bournemouth press. And he's driving with the ball, Casemiro, playing it forward to Mason Mount, driving inside into the centre circle, wanting to release the ball, and he finds Cunha in a pocket of space for Manchester United. He's got Ahmad to his right in the final third. Cunha goes against using the Ivorian. And goes back into Casemiro. It's now in the centre circle once more with Aidan Heaven, who is making his third start in a row. As Mount switches it out to the right, and eventually Ahmad receives the ball. He's one-on-one with Trufair. Ahmad on the outside, heavy touch, but he's able to get the shot away, which is blocked by Senesi. And another corner for Manchester United on that near side. He's looking alive tonight. Mason Mount on that left flank, and it was a brilliant switch out to Ahmad on the right-hand side. Got beyond Trufair rather easily, but his centre-back covered him nicely. Blocked the shot, but does concede the corner. Ahmad on his 10th start in a row in the league. Swings it in, it's headed away for Bournemouth, then kicked up in the air by Clivert. Tavernier goes for the second ball, nods it down but straight to Dallo. It's now United attacking on their left-hand side. In Mbeumo's overlapped Luke Shaw, and he'll play it to Mbeumo, who crosses to Mount, who strikes. It's fierce, it's saved well and cleared by Trufair. Just talking about how Mount's had a lively start to the game and he's almost got the ball in the back of the net. Raced onto that cross from Mbeumo. It was bouncing, but he connected nicely there, Mason Mount. Kicked it into the floor and it made Petrovic work. Got two hands to it and palmed it away. Just over 8 minutes in at Old Trafford. It's still Manchester United 0, Bournemouth 0. Long throw from Dallo headed away for Bournemouth. As far as Ahmad, who recycles it into the box towards Mbeumo. It bounces to him. He cuts it back. Cunha back to goal. Finds Casemiro. Shot blocked and again cleared up in the air, this time by Trufair. So all Manchester United at the moment is Yoro wants to go forward with the ball. Cut out by Semenyo, who then loses out to Yoro the second time. It's now Dallo into the middle to Casemiro. 25 yards from goal. He's going to go left-footed with the shot. I've seen worse attempts. Still not the best from the Brazilian, and it's a goal kick as it sails over the crossbar. Manchester United looking for back-to-back Premier League wins. Lost twice so far at home this season, on the opening weekend against Arsenal, then of course in that 1-0 defeat to Everton in game week 12. Both of those defeats at home have been by 1-0. As Petrovic goes long from the goal kick beyond the halfway line and beyond the head of Semenyo to Yoro. Casemiro lifting it down the right side for Mbeumo, who lets it run through, but it's cut out by Senesi and Scott takes over. Now Diakite goes across to his centre-back partner of Senesi. Towards the left wing of Semenyo on the halfway line, turns away from Yoro nicely, then into the path of Clivert, who's just stretched the pitch with that move to the left-hand side, into the space for Trufair, whose ball across is dealt with by Shaw. That'll be a corner for Bournemouth. It's their turn to attack. just created that space down that left channel, Clivert, by really stretching the pitch. Then Truefair bombed forward from left back. And Luke Shaw made sure that cross didn't go any further into the Manchester United box. So that's in 10 minutes played. Still goalless. Manchester United on top, but Bournemouth just starting to grow into the game. It's actually gone for a throw-in. But it looks like Semenyo will have a long one in his locker. Semenyo with the throw-in to Senesi. Last touch off a Manchester United head. And that'll be a corner on the near side to Bournemouth. Let's have a look. Casemiro's going for it with Senesi. Yeah, right off the head of Casemiro. Rightly given corner. Well given there by the referee, Simon Hooper. It's going to be an in-swinger from Justin Clivert on his 90th Bournemouth appearance. Making his third start in a row in the Premier League. Looking to try and build on last season where he bagged 12 league goals. In it goes, in-swinger, back post. Touch from Lomans. He'll run through for Semenyo on this right-hand side, who will let it roll for a throw-in. And I'm assuming he's going to be taking another long throw-in, but just from the opposite flank this time. Antoine Semenyo, who has a £65 million release clause in his contract, which he signed in the summer. He's gone short, actually, and then got the ball returned to him as he crosses in. Header won by Ahmad. Straight to Tavernier, works it to Semenyo. Looks like he's come back from an offside position, which he has. And that'll be a free kick for Manchester United. Their best run so far this season for the Red Devils was that 3 wins in a row in October when they beat Sunderland 2-0 at home, Liverpool 2-1 away, and then Brighton 4-2 at home. That winning run was ended when they went to Forest and drew 2-2. Equaliser from Ahmad late on in the second half. It's a fantastic left-footed strike beyond Matt Sells. Long ball from United and Burmo couldn't hold it up. It's now with Bournemouth in their own half. The left centre-back Senesi lifting it into Justin Clivert. Gets away from Fernandes, but not Aiden Heaven. And it's now with Bruno Fernandes in the centre of the park, controlling it, switching out towards the left-hand side, cut out by Smith ahead of Mount. Headed away by Dallow in the Manchester United half, looking for Mount once more, who's been pulled to the ground there by Adam Smith. And that's a free kick just on the halfway line for Manchester United. Mason Mount, just the one goal in his previous 5 against Bournemouth, and that was in a 2-0 home win for Chelsea back in December 2022, 3 years ago now. And he's made just the 2 sub-appearances away against Bournemouth in Manchester United colours. As it is the Red Devils to attack down the left flank with Dallow onto his stronger right foot. Delivers a curling ball in towards Cunha. Strong header. Strong hand from Petrovic. And then headed home on the line by Ahmad. And it is an opening goal. And it might be a parting gift from Ahmad as he heads off to the Africa Cup of Nations after this game. He won't get an easier goal than that all season round. Just his second goal of the season since that equaliser away at Forest at the beginning of November. But right place, right time for the Ivorian. As the play started with Ahmad, playing it into the middle of the park to Casemiro. He went out to the left to Dallow. He was one-on-one with Jimenez. Went on the right foot, curled the ball in towards Cunha, who headed it towards goal. Not sure if there was a contact from the former Wolves man. But as it went towards goal, Petrovic got a hand to it, but kind of just sent it up into the air off the hand, which then allowed Ahmad just to make sure it went in the back of the net by heading home from literally a yard out. Does Cunha make contact? Does he make contact with his hand? His hand's up there. Don't think he headed it. I think he went all the way through and then Petrovic saw it late, which meant he couldn't quite get a strong enough hand to it. Comes off the hand, bounces up into the air, and Ahmad heads home. Cunha certainly goes to play the ball, but I don't think he makes contact. And Ahmad calmly headed the ball into the back of the net. It would be the first goal against Bournemouth for Amad Diallo. and the goal has been given. They were checking for offside, but I don't think Cunha made contact. And less than 15 minutes in, Manchester United do have a deserved lead, it must be said. It's Manchester United 1, Bournemouth 0. And this worrying, spiralling, downwards looking of form for Bournemouth looks to continue. Winless in 6. Losing tonight already, early on. And this is a place they've enjoyed travelling to in the last 2 seasons. Won here 3-0 last season and 3-0 the season before, both in December as well. So it's even this time of the year they like to come to travel to Manchester United. But not to be so far. As Lomans goes long, can't quite be held up by Cunha. Big kick forward for Bournemouth, but can't look for Evan Nilsson. Into the hands of Senna Lomans once more. Now this will be the time for the goalkeeper to keep his second clean sheet in United colours, as Bournemouth can't find Cunha with his dummy. Semenyo 1-2 with Cliver. Brilliant play. Cut back towards Tavernier, just away from the number 16. Cleared by Dallo. Played back inside by Senesi, looking for Scott. Comes off Cunha. Trufair kicks it off the Brazilian. Throwing for Bournemouth just inside the Manchester United half on this near side. Before today, it's an absolute identical record for Bournemouth. 5 wins, 5 draws, 5 defeats. Just 1 win away from home, and that was a 1-0 away win at Spurs at the end of August. So no wins in their last 5 on their travels, losing the last 3 in a row as they've won it back off Casemiro on the edge of the area, but Tavernier's ball towards Cliver is slightly deflected, which means United can then clear. Casemiro tackled again by Tavernier. This time it's a late one. And it's going to be a free kick for the home side. Just looks like he's holding his left shin there, Casemiro. Scored twice previously against Bournemouth, 1 at home and 1 away in the 22-23 season. Still just lay on his back, Casemiro, the 33-year-old. Dallo's in-swinging cross for the goal. They were just seeing if there was any contact off Cunha. There wasn't, and he has gone to play the ball, but even if he did make contact, I don't think he was offside anyway. But no celebrations were short-lived for Ahmad. They were right to celebrate the goal. A lot of dummying going on from Manchester United, and that means they've lost the ball this time with Senesi pickpocketing Cunha. It's now on the left wing to Cliver. Got Ahmad doing his defensive work. Plays a ball into the middle, though, to Tavernier, who's picked up a pocket of space. Scott, with a switch towards the right flank here to Jimenez. Kicks it off Dallo, who intercepts well. And then he kicks it off Jimenez, and it's a throw-in for the home side. Midway side their own half on that far side. As like I say, it's been all Manchester United, 8 shots to Bournemouth's 0. Slightly edging the possession as well. Ruben Amorim's side. Probably got one of the hardest fixtures in the Premier League next time out. Manchester United on the 21st of December, having to travel to Villa Park to take on Aston Villa, who I think have won 9 of their last 10 Premier League games. Currently sat in 3rd, Emery's side. Ahmad on the right wing in the final third, playing it into the middle to Fernandes. Cunha finds space, and he shoots towards the top right corner, and it is not far away. Looking for just his second goal in Manchester United colours. Bruno Fernandes looking to assist once more. He's used Diakite as almost, a mannequin to bend the ball into that top corner. And he's a yard or so away. Unfortunate for Cunha, who was actually sent off against Bournemouth last season in the FA Cup 5th round after a headbutt on Milos Kerkez. Has also scored 3 times against Bournemouth, all in away games, in separate visits as well. So it does usually like a trip to the Vitality. Cunha more often than not when he's headbutting Hungarian left backs. Adam Smith, ball over the top, down the right hand side for Jimenez. He'll get there as he slides. He kicks it into the box, but it's too short for Evan Nilsson. Played out from the back now with Casemiro, working it down the left wing to Cunha, running at Diakite in the Bournemouth half. Slows it down, plays it right to Mount, swiftly plays it on once more to Fernandes. Now into space for Ahmad. You've got True Fair following him out all the way. Ahmad still has it, working himself away from goal. Still with Ahmad, being held back by True Fair. And that'll be a free kick given by the referee. Don't think he completely agrees there. Adrien Truffert, the French left-back, who's made just the one appearance for the French national side, and that was all the way back in September 2022 against Denmark. Just 24 years of age, though. They're number 3. Their new number 3, signed in the summer. Just under 21 minutes in. Manchester United 1, Bournemouth 0. This takes the Red Devils up to 5th in the Premier League table, level with points with Chelsea on 28. Chelsea just have a superior goal difference. I think United would have to win by 9 to leapfrog them. As the ball's delivered in, Alex Scott goes down and the free kick's given to Bournemouth. Just relieving the pressure there, Alex Scott, who was part of that England under-21 side who won the Euros in the summer. Was called up to the England senior side in November, but wasn't able to make an appearance. Was named on the bench for the game against Albania, but wasn't allowed to make his debut as Bournemouth have been caught out in their own half. Mount on the left wing in the corner of the box. Finds Fernandes on the edge of the area. Back heel from Ahmad to Mbeumo. Then tries to play it inside to Cunha. Cut out well by Senesi. Fernandes stops Clivert in his tracks, but Truffert then takes over and plays it down the left-hand side to Semenyo, who's lost out to Yoro. Now Mbeumo. Driving forward. Playing it across to Mount. Scooping it back through towards Mbeumo, who brings it down brilliantly. Ahmad in the box, once more towards Fernandes, who has to slide to keep it alive. Comes off Tavernier. Luke Shaw's the one to try and make it go forward for Manchester United. Casemiro with a header. Jimenez with a rushed clearance. Controlled down by Yoro. Manchester United dominating this game, and it's an almost brilliant through ball from Casemiro to Dalot, but there was just too much on it from the former Real Madrid man. Truffert at left back. It's a ball forward to Clivert. Brilliant touch. Keeps it away from Heaven. Tavernier. Keeps it away from Mount, and the referee plays advantage as Tavernier receives the ball back once more, but he's got himself in trouble. Fernandes to Cunha. Bearing down at goal. Cunha on his left foot. Good block from Diakite. And that'll be a corner on the far side for Manchester United. Had to get across there. Bafode Diakite, the new centre-back signing from Lille in the summer. Signed for £34.6 million. Formerly a France under-21 international. Looks like it's going to be a right-footed in-swinger from Bruno Fernandes, who takes in the round of applause from that corner of the Manchester United crowd. Just over 23.5 minutes in. In-swinger, low one. Casemiro tried to flick it on, heading it, getting his head down low, but couldn't quite get it to a Manchester United player, and then Dalot's fouled a Bournemouth player in the box, and that'll be a free kick for the away side. Have lost their last 3 games in a row, Bournemouth away, but they have been against Manchester City, Aston Villa and Sunderland, probably the 3 of the hardest places to go so far this season in the Premier League. But it's just crazy. They lost their opening game of the season to Liverpool on that Friday night, Bournemouth, and then went 8 unbeaten, winning 5, drawing 3, and they've just completely fell off a cliff since. 6 have had a win now, including a 4-0 battering to Aston Villa. And in some of the games where they've not won, they've been ahead as well. It's like the 2-2 draw at home to West Ham. Sorry, they were 2-0 down in that one, but against Sunderland away from home, they were 2-0 up in that one and then ended up losing 3-2, capitulating pretty heavily. They're still in this game at just 1-0, but they've lost it to Mount, out to the right to Ahmad, in the corner of the box on the right-hand side, on his left foot, wants the shot, blocked by Truffert, who now has it. Plays it down the line towards Semenyo, who will give chase to it. Fernandez will get there first. Works it to Heaven. He will drive forward with the ball from centre-back. Takes on one. Brought down by the second. Referee waves it away, but Casemiro gets onto the loose ball and fires it out to the left to Dalot, who's going to run at Jimenez. Dalot into the middle to Mbeumo. Chance for the right-footed shot, which he takes. And it's a comfortable dive to Petrovic's left. Keeps the ball out of the net. And it remains Manchester United 1, Bournemouth 0, 25.5 minutes in. Coming close there, Brian Mbeumo. 5 in his last 8. Did have no goals in his previous 3 before bagging against Wolves in that last game away at Molineux. Brian Mbeumo scoring just after half-time to put Manchester United back in the lead. It's going to be Truffert to deliver a ball into the box for Bournemouth. It's a header won by Dalot. Brought down by Tavernier. Just about keeps it moving away from Mount to Scott on the right-hand side. Tavernier. Back to the halfway line to Adam Smith. Goes across to his left to Truffert, who's got Mbeumo trying to press. Has to go back to his goalkeeper, Petrovic. Just the one appearance against Manchester United previously, and it was in a very famous 4-3 win for Chelsea back in April 2024. You might remember that last-minute winner from Cole Palmer from the quickly taken corner. Alex Scott winning the header there on Fernandez, who holds the back of his head. Might have been a bit of contact on the follow-through from the header. Looks like he's going to be able to continue, Bruno Fernandes. Let's see, Alex Scott went up for it. There's absolutely no contact at all on his head. Honestly, it baffles the mind. There's about 1,000 cameras looking at you, and you decide to act like someone's headbutted you by accident, and they've not. Yeah, we'll continue. With Manchester United building out from the back with their left wing back Dalot. Back to Lomans in the box, who takes the touch. No pressing him though, so he's got plenty of time to pick his next pass in his full green kit tonight. Lomans. Left-footed lifted ball to the halfway line towards Mount. Trying to hold it up against Diakite, but brushed to the floor. Scott forward to Semenyo, who switched wings. He's on the right-hand side now. Running at Luke Shaw into the box. Onto that stronger left foot. Away from Casemiro as well. Playing it to Tavernier. Leaves it for Truffert. Jimenez. Inside again to Tavernier, who lets it run through for Senesi. 10-yard pass to his left to Tavernier. He's going to go for an early cross into the box. It's a header away by Heaven. Well, as far as Diakite, who curls it towards the right-hand side. Smith into Cliver, who's joined the attack on the right flank. Crosses it in towards Tavernier. Saved the first time and deflected behind the second time. Don't know if Lomans knew too much about that save, but he made it nonetheless. It was an early ball in from Cliver, a late run from Tavernier which caught out Ahmad, and as he's gone to head it from about 8 yards out, don't get me wrong, it's pretty much straight at Lomans, but it's come at him that quick, he's had to make sure he got 2 strong hands to it, palmed it back out towards Tavernier, and it just bounced off his leg and away from goal. Just a warning sign, though, for Manchester United that Bournemouth can make something out of nothing. Casemiro goes long, looking in behind for Mbeumo. Overhit the pass, and it'll be thrown in the defensive third for Bournemouth. Still waiting to be taken, this throw-in. So less than half an hour in, Manchester United still lead. Truffert through the legs of Yoro. Evan Nilsson, who's been very non-existent in this opening 29.5 minutes. Wins another throw-in for his side. Throw in again off the chest of Jimenez to Evan Nilsson. Keeps it away from Fernandez and then tripped by Ahmad. And that's going to be a free kick for Bournemouth just inside their own half. Senesi into the centre circle to Scott. Gets himself in front of Cunha. Scott to Cliver, who keeps drifting out to his left-hand side. Senesi on halfway. No press on him at the moment. Works it to Tavernier. Back into Diakite. In between the lines for Cliver. Works its way to Semenyo. Semenyo with the ball into the box towards Evan Nilsson. Cleared by Casemiro straight to Smith. Bournemouth can keep the ball rolling. Definitely picked it up the last 5 minutes. The Cherries. Starting to string a bit of possession. Senesi to Semenyo, lays it off to Evan Nilsson, who will go for the long-range strike, about 5 yards wide. Pretty pointless strike, really, from Evan Nilsson. Was never going to trouble Senna Lomans. And after 31 minutes, it's Manchester United 1, Bournemouth 0. Bournemouth's first game at Old Trafford was a 2-0 defeat in the League Cup second round back in October 1982. That's because their first meeting away against Manchester United was a 6-0 defeat in January 1949 in the FA Cup third round. But that was played at Main Road as Manchester United were ground sharing after the effects of World War II. So that's when they had to wait until 1982 to get their first official trip to Old Trafford. AFC Bournemouth played Manchester United 12 times away from home, beating them twice in the last 2 visits, 1 draw, which is back in March 2017, then 9 defeats. Didn't win any of their first 10 on their travels to Manchester when playing the red side of the city. Lomans with a goal kick. It's out towards the United left, free header for Diakite, headed on by Cliver on halfway, headed away by Yoro, headed back forward by Senesi, controlled by Casemiro. Kicking it forward, and it's high, and it's Ahmad will try and get on the end of it. Senesi can volley. Headed back forward by Fernandez. Headed away and out wide to Senesi, looking for Jimenez. Wanting it on his right foot. Gets it onto his right foot. And then Tavernier takes over, tripped by Yoro. And that'll be a free kick for Bournemouth. Just a bit of a late one there by Lenny Yoro, who's 1 away from half a century for Manchester United now in terms of appearances. This is number 49 for him. Just the 1 goal, which was away in their quarter-final against Lyon in the Europa League. It's going to be true fair. Again with a long diagonal free kick into the 18-yard box. Header won by Shaw. Controlled by Tavernier. Brilliant Cruyff turn. Works it to Semenyo, who's been surrounded by red shirts, and he can't get away from Luke Shaw. Cunha into the space down the right-hand side for Ahmad. Counter-attack is on. Ahmad into the box. Onto the left foot. It's brilliant, but that's an even better sliding tackle from Adam Smith. Had to make it. Had to get it right, because if not, Ahmad was burying that for 2-0. Got across just in the nick of time, Adam Smith. Despite being the age of 34, he's still got it pace-wise. Started 4 of the last 6 now in the league, Adam Smith. But he's got a bit too aggressive there on Dallo. And that's going to be a free kick for Manchester United. I feel like Ahmad's got the better of Truffert on that United right. Skipped beyond him that time, and it was Adam Smith to save the day. Not really known for his goal scoring, Adam Smith. Only got 6 for Bournemouth, and one of them has come against Manchester United. It was in a 3-1 home defeat in August 2016, back in the Mourinho days for Manchester United. The last goal Adam Smith scored personally himself was against Leicester at home, a 4-2 win back in September 2018. Some time to wait for a goal, but that's not what he's known for, Adam Smith. Very reliable, dependent fullback when needed. Back underway in Bournemouth, just in front of the centre circle. Try to slip a ball through towards Cunha, who's making the run. Gets there at Diakite. Cunha tries to square it back across. Deflects off the French centre-back. All as far as Ahmad on the right wing. Wanting movement. Going back into Yoro. Quick 1-2 with Fernandez. With Ahmad now once more. Going back to Yoro, slowing the game down. The Ivorian. As the Frenchman with Yoro switches it to the left centre-back as Shaw. Heaven in the centre circle, playing it forward to Cunha. Touch away from Diakite. Cunha with an early cross. What a ball in Bournemouth! Volley goes over the bar. That was Rooney Van Persie-esque like link-up between Cunha and Bournemouth, and it just lacked the finish. Perfectly weighted ball in from Cunha. And Bournemouth got behind his man. Peeled off the back of him. Senesi lost where he was. And then Bournemouth had to kind of slide across to volley as it was just away from him. Just couldn't quite work it on target. Over the bar it went. "36 minutes in, still 1-0 to Manchester United, who are looking for their 15th win in this fixture. This is the 25th meeting ever between the two. Last time Manchester United beat Bournemouth, it was a 1-0 away win with Casemiro scoring in the 9th minute. That was when Gary O'Neill was the manager of Bournemouth and Ten Hag was in charge of Manchester United. How things can change. It's Jimenez for Bournemouth, away from Ahmad. Brings in Truffert into the middle to Evan Nilsson. Through for Kluivert, who spins and can't get the shot away. Collected by Lomans. Shielded it to him very nicely there, Diogo Dalot. Feel like a positive result is not just needed, but almost just it needs to be a given for Bournemouth to get something from this game, primarily a win. As like I say, they're winless in their last 6. Cunha driving through the centre of the park, going out to his left towards Mount, taking him away from goal. But he is one-on-one with Adam Smith on that left wing in the final third, towards the 18-yard box. Still with Mount, thinking about the cross, playing a ball instead to Cunha, who's got his back to goal. Casemiro, then lifted back out wide to Bournemouth. Cunha tries the 1-2 with Mount, heads it back towards the Englishman, cleared off of him by Adam Smith, but then hurried away by Semenyo, straight out to the opposite side for Lenny Yoro. He wants to go for a cross, does go for the cross, headed and won by Senesi, chested down by Evan Nilsson, laid off to Tavernier. Uses left back of Truffert. Across to Senesi. Bournemouth back in possession. Again, trying to find a ball through the lines to Evan Nilsson, who's been tripped by Shaw. And that is a free kick for Bournemouth. Luke Shaw now starting every single game so far this season in the league. Eight times out of the previous 15, he's played the full game. His last ever goal was actually against Bournemouth for Luke Shaw. It was in a 3-0 home win back in January 2023 as Diakite's been dispossessed by Cunha. Now he brings in Fernandez through for Casemiro, makes a run down the left-hand side. Left-footed shot at the near post. It is missed. Probably should have tried to square the ball there, Casemiro. Dawdling on the ball, took too long there. Bafode, Diakite. And it was Casemiro found himself in an advanced number 10 position. And tried the left-footed weak shot on a very tight angle. Not the cleverest of ideas from the 5-time Champions League winner. Luke Shaw. Touch isn't great. Played forward by Smith to Semenyo. And there's green grass to run into. Semenyo in the box. He's not being stopped. He's allowed to shoot. And it rattles off the post into the back of the net. It is clueless defending from Manchester United. And Antoine Semenyo does not need a free invitation to score a goal in the Premier League. It's his 7th in the Premier League this season after not scoring in his last 7. He's had to wait well over 2 months to get back on the score sheet. But he had to pretty much just stay composed because he had so much space to run into. Luke Shaw lost out to Smith, who then played it down the right channel to Semenyo. Mason Mount is trying to tell one of the defenders to come across to cover. Not one of them do that task. Mount doesn't have the pace to get ahead of Semenyo. Bruno Fernandes was trying his absolute best to try and act as that covering centre-back and slide to block the shot. Got nowhere near it. Semenyo shooting across goal. Lomans, with his long right leg, couldn't quite get there. Perfectly placed. Off the woodworking in. And before the break, Bournemouth have struck back at Old Trafford. It's Manchester United 1, Bournemouth 1. I think there Bruno Fernandes telling Luke Shaw just to send it away next time. Don't mess around with the ball. If you have to just play it down the channel and get the team pushed up, that's what you've got to do. But Aidan Heaven didn't want to take the risk of coming across to cover Luke Shaw there. I think because he was picking up Evan Nilsson, he was kind of wary of leaving the Brazilian on his own, which then just allowed Semenyo to just keep running forward until he was close enough to shoot. And he's finished it really well there, Semenyo. That's now 3 and 4 against Manchester United. He scored home and away against the Red Devils last season. And that's massively frustrating for Manchester United because they've definitely been the better side. And that was just lack of reading of the game. Semenyo going aerially, not liking the fact that Dalot was forcing him to fall to the ground. Semenyo's put his hand towards the neck of Dalot, which isn't the greatest of decisions for Semenyo. Of course, he's frustrated. Simon Hooper, the referee, just wants a word with Dalot and Semenyo, the two guilty parties. Simon Hooper, definitely one of the more theatrical referees. Does remind me a little bit of Mike Dean. So there's going to be a yellow card for both. Yellow card for Dalot and a yellow card for Semenyo. He might be quite lucky here, Semenyo, that it's only yellow because he definitely raised a hand. So Dalot's had no attempt to go for that ball in the air. And he knows Semenyo's going to jump for it. And as he jumped for it, he kind of just nudged him to then send him onto his back. Which, again, I understand where that can become frustrating for Semenyo because that can, you don't want to land awkwardly on your back or on your neck because that can, of course, lead to serious injuries. And then Semenyo's gone to look at Dalot and he has just half grabbed his neck. Didn't fully get a grab, but he definitely grazed the neck with his hand. With VAR, you've just got to be extra careful. It's the first booking for Dalot, and I think Semenyo will get away with just the yellow card. It's the 4th of the season for the goal scorer, Semenyo. And a lot of people think Semenyo is going to the Africa Cup of Nations, but he's not with Ghana because they didn't qualify. And they were out in the group stage of AFCON last time in 2024 as the free kick's been sent in. Senesi heads it down. Scott towards Evan Nilsson. It's a huge sliding tackle from Dalot to send the ball away. And 1 minute before half-time, it's Bournemouth who are looking to try and take the lead in this game. Header won at the far post by Senesi on Euro. Scott's, what turned out to be a pass, was certainly a shot. Fell to Evan Nilsson, who couldn't get the shot away because Dalot was there. True fair. Inside to Clivert. Squares it. Tavernier with the strike from afar. It's had to be palmed away by Lomans. It deflected towards the bottom right corner. Just enough on it to reach Tavernier. Came off the leg of Mbeumo. Think it may have just been going wide. Lomans was not taking that risk. Or was it? Yeah, probably just nicking off the post, potentially. Wasn't to know. Corner for Bournemouth. They won't believe their luck if they can go in at half-time 2-1 up. Not won on their travels since the end of August when they beat Spurs 1-0. It's their first Premier League goal in their last 3 games as well. It's failed to score against Chelsea in that 0-0 draw last weekend, then their 1-0 home defeat to Everton. Goes in at the near post, cleared by Bruno Fernandes. 5 minutes of added on time at Old Trafford. Smith recycles it towards the edge of the box. Free header for Heaven. Up towards Cunha, who controls it. Keeps it away from Scott. Then out towards the left to Mbeumo. Header won by Smith. Throwing on the halfway line for Manchester United. Got some easier fixtures coming up, Bournemouth. They've got Burnley to host in 5 days' time. And they've got to travel away to Brentford, who they've been given a lot of stick after their last performance against Leeds yesterday. I didn't watch the game myself personally, but I was reading a lot of Brentford Twitter this morning, and they were not best pleased with the performance that Keith Andrews' side put on display. United go long down the left. It's Luke Shaw in a left wing position. Skips beyond one. Luke Shaw looking for Cunha. Cut out by True Fair, but all as far as Mbeumo as Semenyo fails to clear convincingly. Mount on the left-hand side, everything to his right. 1-on-1 with Smith, quickly onto his right foot, delivers a good ball in, headed up into the air by Senesi, still in the box. Jimenez can get the next contact, and then it drops to Senesi. Now Adam Smith at right back, Mount closing him down. Smith clears it, but as far as the chest of Dalot. Forward to Fernandes, on once more to Casemiro, out wide left to Mount. Ball kept in, play stopped. As I think Fernandes was caught during that sequence of play. As Fernandes received it to play it to Casemiro, who was just caught by Cliver, who couldn't quite slow down once Fernandes had released the ball. So on that far side, it's going to be a free kick for Manchester United and Bruno Fernandes. He's the only person stood over the ball. They've sent the centre-backs forward. Luke Shaw's in there. Aidan Heaven's in there. So is Lenny Yoro. The right foot of Fernandes from the left flank. In it goes. It's helped on. Comes off a Bournemouth player last and behind for a corner. I think Casemiro won first contact, then came off the chest of Senesi. Casemiro all alone for that header. Ooh, off the stomach and then the arm of Senesi. I think he'll get away with that just due to the fact it came off his stomach first. Another set piece to deal with. Another in-swinger. It's a deep one towards Casemiro. Wins another header! And it's palmed into the back of the net. The Brazilian scores once more at Old Trafford. It's his 4th of the season. He hadn't scored in his previous 5. The goal drought stops. And it gives Manchester United another lead in this game. His previous header from the last free kick won Manchester United this corner kick, which was taken deep to Casemiro, who won another header. And surely there is going to be eyes on Petrovic, who should have dealt with that a lot better. Fernandes with the deeper ball in, curling into the 6-yard box. Casemiro won the header on True Fair. And as he won the header, Casemiro, he bounced it in front of the goalkeeper, who just could not keep it out. The header wasn't exactly full of pace or precision. Just complete lack of concentration from Petrovic, as there is so many hands, head in hands for Bournemouth as that ball hit the back of the net. Oh, he's just tried to, I think, push it out with his hands, and it's hit the top of his fingers, and they don't have enough strength to keep the ball out. Pushed into the net, and right before the half-time break, Manchester United regain the lead through Casemiro. And it's Very poor goalkeeping from Georgiy Petrovic. 2-1 to Manchester United. It's going to be a long throw in here for Antoine Semenyo to take in the final third, as we could have one more roll of the dice for Bournemouth before the break. Thrown into the area. Header won by Dallo. Drops to Tavernier, who works it to the right wing to Semenyo. One-on-one with Dallo. Lays it off for Tavernier, who floats a ball in towards Kluivert. Header won by Fernandez this time. We've played the 5 added on. True Fair recycles it towards the edge of the area. Header won by Mount, only as far as Scott, who controls. It's now Senesi, lifts it into the box. Controlled by Jimenez. To True Fair. First time cross, which comes off Fernandez. Into the gloves of Senna Lomans. And the referee will blow for half-time. And at Old Trafford, it is Manchester United who have the lead. They've been the more dominant side in the game, it must be said, in terms of shots at goal, having 16 compared to Bournemouth's 5. But the first goal came from a header from a yard out from Amad Diallo. It was a ball into the box from Dallo. Cunha missed it. It was weak wrists from Petrovic, who could only keep the ball out of the net for the moment. As it came off his hand, it looped up into the air, and on the goal line, Amad could head home to make it 1-0 after 13 minutes, and it was a deserved goal for Manchester United. They continued to pepper the Bournemouth goal, but couldn't quite find a second, and that's when the equaliser struck. 5 minutes before half-time, Antoine Semenyo was set away down the right-hand side after Adam Smith won the ball back for Bournemouth from Luke Shaw. No one was covering Luke Shaw's position, so Semenyo just had free space to run into, and as he entered the box, he shot across goal, off the post and in. And despite not playing very well, Bournemouth found themselves back in the game at 1-1, but they let that slip right before the half-time whistle. From the free kick that was taken by Fernandez, Casemiro headed it on. It came off Senesi, which got them a corner kick. And from that corner kick, it was a deep, curling cross to the back post, where Casemiro won a header. This time it was weak fingers from Petrovic. That's what it came off. Didn't come off his hands, came off the top of his fingertips and into the back of the net. Poor goalkeeping on 2 occasions from the Serbian, and Bournemouth will be left frustrated. As at Old Trafford, after the first half, which has had 50 minutes of action, it's Manchester United 2, Bournemouth 1. Manchester United certainly deserved their lead, but they had to work hard to get it back after conceding that sloppy goal to Antoine Semenyo in the 40th minute. But all that Ruben Amorim will be bothered about is having the lead now, which they've got going into half-time. I'm going to have a quick break. I'll be back in 15 minutes for the second half. As at half-time here at Old Trafford, it's Manchester United 2, Bournemouth 1. Hello and welcome back, as the second half is soon upon us, as Manchester United lead by 2-1 against Bournemouth. They were 1-0 up in the 13th minute through Amad Diallo, a header from literally a yard out. And then Bournemouth equalised through Antoine Semenyo. That was cancelled out right before the half-time whistle. After a header from Casemiro, who's now got 3 and 5 against Bournemouth. As it is Manchester United to kick off, attacking the Stretford end, and it'll be Bournemouth kicking left to right towards the end where their away support is situated in the stadium. No changes at half-time from either of the two sides. Manchester United deserve their lead for sure. I think they've been the much better side. Just conceded a very sloppy goal. Some difficulties with their defensive setup. As Bournemouth look to try and get their equaliser. Tavernier, Evanilson! And within 38 seconds of the second half, Bournemouth are back level once more. Evanilson, who was sent off the last time these two sides met, is now on the score sheet, scoring his second goal of the season. And the last time he scored was in Bournemouth's only away win of the season so far at Tottenham at the end of August. The number 9 needed no time to warm up for this second half. On it straight away. Clearance from Luke Shaw. Header one by Senesi. And it was Tavernier in the middle of the park who was allowed to slip the ball through between Yoro and Heaven. Good touch with the right foot, which allowed him to swing his left foot at the ball. Again, across goal, like Semenyo's. And like Semenyo's, it took a nick off the post and in. Proper number 9 piece of play from Evanilson. Right in the corner. No stopping that for Senna Lomans. And frustration continues to build at Old Trafford. It's Manchester United 2. Bournemouth 2. The touch and finish was class, but that slipped through ball by Tavernier was beautifully weighted. And Bournemouth are back level straight away. And again, they've not been brilliant, Bournemouth. They have in spells in little patches, but they've not done anything too special. I just think it's really poor Manchester United defending for the 2 goals. And that's now 24 goals they've conceded this season in the league. Manchester United, they've conceded 10 now at home. Senesi down the left channel goes long. Jimenez will chase it. Lomans comes for it and just about gets it. And he rolls it in front of Aiden Heaven. And they'll play out from the back. Yoro looking for the wing back of Amad. No touch off Evanilson. And it'll be a throw-in for Bournemouth, despite the claims from Yoro that he definitely took a nick off the Bournemouth attacker. There's Fernandez. Trips. I think that was Tavernier. And that'll be a free kick for Bournemouth again. Game completely spins on its head. It did when Bournemouth equalised the first time to make it 1-1 for the next couple of minutes after the goal. But then United kind of got back in control, and they need to try and do that again if they don't want to go behind, because Bournemouth have got a chance to score once more. Diakite and Senesi are up from the back. It's going to be a right-footed ball in from Cliver. Free header though for Casemiro, scorer of Manchester United's second goal. Adam Smith in the centre circle, putting it back forward with a high ball. Header won by Fernandez. Second header won by Jimenez. Third header won by Heaven. Drops towards Truferu. Loses out to Casemiro. Ball high up in the sky. Glanced on by Mount. Kicked up in the air by Smith towards the Bournemouth left. It's allowed to bounce. Yoro dealing with the ball by hooking it over his head. Chested down by Senesi. Lifted over Cunha, but as far as Bruno Fernandes in Bournemouth. Sprinting at Tavernier. Lays it off to his left to Cunha. Then out wide to the near side to Dallo. Luke Shaw running around him. Opts to go back into the middle to Fernandes. Touches poor. The pass weren't great to him. And Tavernier wants another assist. Tavernier, he's bursting away. No one's stopping him. Tavernier on the edge of the box. He's been tripped by Casemiro very cynically. That'll be a yellow card. He had to do it. No one else was. And you don't need to invite Casemiro to cynically take down an attacker when they're through on goal. That is his bread and butter. That's what he's known for. Sometimes you need to do it. Tavernier, he's had a fantastic game so far. Probably been Bournemouth's brightest spark. And Casemiro, once he realised no one was going to close him down, he thought, I'm going to have to do this myself. And he had to. But it's a free kick, so it's not exactly danger averted so far. Still an opportunity for Bournemouth from this free kick. Yellow card for Casemiro, who has been sent off this season at home. That was in the win against Chelsea in the middle of September. Just to the right-hand side, kind of in line with the penalty spot, just to the right. So the angle for a left footer is near enough perfect. I'm sure the likes of Semenyo and Tavernier will be licking their lips at this one. Tavernier's the left-footed option. It's Clivert who's the right-footed option. I do reckon Tavernier will fancy this. He's not scored away from home yet this season. Tavernier will take it towards the goalkeeper's side, and in it goes. It's a rocket from Tavernier. And within just under 7 minutes of the second half, Bournemouth have gone from trailing to leading at Old Trafford. And Tavernier has been the conductor of the comeback, assisting Evanilson's goal right after the break, and now scoring himself from the free kick he won himself. Bending it towards the bottom left corner. Lomans must have seen it late. Ended up diving the right way eventually, but it was past him in a flash. And where on earth has this come from? Comeback complete within 7 minutes. It's Manchester United 2, Bournemouth 3. And Marcus Tavernier, take a bow. Andoni Iraola has coached his Bournemouth team twice at Old Trafford. They've won both times, scoring 3 times in each. They've done it again. The previous 2 times they hadn't conceded. They have this time, but they don't mind because they're ahead. Jimenez on the left wing, trying to go around the outside of Ahmad, who is able to stop him in his tracks, and Yoro clears. There's now a mountain for Manchester United to climb. Tavernier, who is oozing confidence at the moment, signed a new 4-year deal in the summer. There's question marks over that contract given to him by some of the Bournemouth supporters, but he is silencing any haters at the moment. Lifted ball into Tavernier, who nods it down towards Evanilson in the box, cleared by Yoro. Poor touch from Cunha. Scott takes it off Fernandez. Adam Smith at right back. Forward to Alex Scott, who's on this near side. Going back to the halfway line to Diakite. To his centre-back partner of Marcus Senesi, who missed 4 months of last season, injured with a hamstring problem. Over 3 years between his 2 Argentina appearances. Played for them in June 2022 and then most recently in October of 2025. And he's still on the ball here. Senesi on halfway. Lifting it down the left-hand side towards True Fair. Touched out by Aiden Heaven. It's a throw-in just inside, just midway inside the Manchester United half. I definitely think there'll be question marks over the goalkeeping from Lomans for that free kick. Bruno Fernandes is just slightly away from the main wall. And it goes in between Fernandes and Cunha, who are almost like their own separate wall. There's a gap between the two of them, and that's where Tavernier placed it. It's clever. And like I say, Lomans, just the spring that he made to dive was just a little bit weak. Didn't seem like he really pushed off his feet strong enough to get across. As Aiden Heaven clears away the cross into the box. Headed back forward by Senesi. Headed back forward by Fernandez through to Senesi, who will get there ahead of him. Bournemouth sends it to his goalkeeper Petrovic, who kicks it up the field first time with his left boot. Header won by Shaw. Second contact won by Smith with an arm. And that's a free kick on the halfway line, for Manchester United, who have only won 2 of their last 5 in the league, both away from home. To Palace and Wolves, as Manchester United wanted to take it quickly, and the referee pulls it back. It's now 9 Premier League games in a row without a clean sheet for Manchester United. They've conceded 3 this evening. Worrying times in Bournemouth. Out wide to Ahmad on the far side, running at Jimenez. Wants it on that left foot, gets it on the left foot, plays it to Bruno Fernandes, who works himself out to the right-hand side in the corner of the box, scoops it over the bar, and that is going to be a goal kick for Bournemouth. Can be calmly seen over by George Petrovic, who's made 11 appearances for Serbia, but he was on the bench for the last 2 in the November international break against England and Latvia. But it is raining goals in Manchester. It's rained all day in Manchester. As someone who is situated in the area, it has stopped tonight, but all day. Quite heavy rain as well, miserable. But that's no real surprise with Manchester. And it's a miserable performance so far, especially in the second half. They were 2-1 up at half-time, Manchester United, and the 3-2 down. Bournemouth haven't won in nearly 2 months. Bournemouth's last win was on the 26th of October when they beat Nottingham Forest, and that was 50 days ago. Tavernier scored in that one as well in the 25th minute. Krupi scored also in that one, who's on the bench for Bournemouth, Junior Krupi. Bournemouth lift the ball out to the left-hand side in the final third, headed into the box by Senesi, controlled and cleared by Heaven. But it's just no direction on the clearance. You know, Burmo was making a little bit of a run, don't get me wrong. I don't think anyone would expect to have found him with the pass, but at least put a clearance in his direction. Bournemouth go route 1 and they go long. The second ball picked up by Evan Nilsson as he used his arm. Referee says no. And it's now with Bournemouth on their left flank with Truffert, forward from fullback. Lays it off to Jimenez, who is usually a fullback, but he's been utilised in kind of higher positions at the moment for Bournemouth. Alex Jimenez, making his 3rd start in a row for Bournemouth. He is a current under-21 international for Spain as Smith plays a pass and it runs out of pitch. Throw-in for Manchester United. Did the league double over Bournemouth in the 22-23 season, winning the first game 3-0 home and then winning the away game 1-0. And that was Manchester United's last win in the fixture. Casemiro scored that only goal in the win. Ahmad in the final third again, 1-on-1 with Jimenez. Into the box, goes on the outside towards the byline. He uses his right foot, overcooks the cross, and Mount can't keep it in play. And it's a throw-in on the near side for Bournemouth. He's trying his hardest, Ahmad, on his 80th appearance for Manchester United, scoring as well in the first half to make it 1-0. Looks like it'll be his last game before he goes off to the Africa Cup of Nations, with the likes of Mbeumo going as well, and possibly Mazraoui. Clivert down the right-hand side, trying to get around Luke Shaw. The number 23 for United says no and then plays it into the middle of the back 3 towards Lenny Yoro, who takes it beyond the halfway line. Wants to play it down the right-hand side, and he will to Ahmad. Goes back into Yoro, Manchester United number 15. Never played for the France senior team, Yoro. Has played in the last 5 games for their under-21s. He had to score a Premier League goal, Lenny Yoro, as Cunha's dispossessed. Clivert, he's got Semenyo and Evan Nilsson running ahead of him, but he's been tackled by Casemiro. And it's now Fernandez into Dallo. Into Fernandez. Spraying it towards the right side to Mbeumo. Ahead of him is Ahmad. to his right, and he finds him. Ahmad on his left foot, lays it off in Burmo to Fernandez, lifting it for Ahmad, who I'm sure is offside. Flag stays down, tries to cut it back, it deflects, Scott slides in, Mount with the header, Diakite with the volley away. Chested down by Semenyo, then stopped by Shaw. And he'll bring it forward. Luke Shaw's got Dallo to his left, uses him, he's got everything to his right. Plays it back into Shaw once more, crosses it in to the far post. It's a header won by Jimenez. And Kluivert will reach it first, tripped from behind by Ahmad. And I think that will be a free kick for Bournemouth, won by Justin Kluivert, who's got 3 in his previous 6 against Manchester United, scoring away from home here last season in their 3-0 win. He scored a penalty to make it 2-0 in this minute of the game, 61st minute, and that's where Manchester United are going to make their first change. Petrovic is down at the moment for Bournemouth. And it's going to be a change where Casemiro, who scored their second to make it 2-1 right before half-time, he is on a yellow card as well, Casemiro, and he'll be replaced by Kobbie Mainoo, who has half been in the headlines with Ruben Amorim making comments about his lack of game time. It is a weird one because the drop-off on Kobbie Mainoo's been pretty much since Amorim joined the club. You know, Kobbie Mainoo was a starter for England in the European Championship final. He was the match winner in the FA Cup final, and then he obviously just doesn't like something about him, if that's on the pitch, off the pitch, personality, because it can't be ability, because Kobbie Mainoo is an unbelievable football player. I'm not bothered what anyone says. He has got bags of ability, but he's yet to start this season for Manchester United in the Premier League. His last start in the league was at home to West Ham in May. You know, that's 7 months ago. I know we've obviously had the off-season within that, but still not the point. There's clearly an underlying issue between Amorim and Mainoo. Napoli are heavily linked with him to take him on loan for the second half of the season. But whatever has happened between them, they either need to resolve it or Mainoo needs to get out of that club, because there is no way him at the age of 20 should be having his game time limited. It's just, it shouldn't be. It just shouldn't happen. So let's see if he can make a name for himself tonight, because United need him, and they need him to step up if possible. We're back underweight. Petrovic, of course, okay. No surprise there. And it's going to be thrown for Bournemouth midway side the United half. Come a long way, Bournemouth. Got the joint highest finish last season in 9th. They also finished 9th in 2017. You know, it's crazy. They went into administration run and were almost liquidated in 2008. They were saved within minutes from liquidation with some last-minute investment. And now they're a very settled Premier League side who have earned their right to be a kind of an ever-present in the Premier League for the last decade or so. They've had a few spells in the Championship since, but overall the work Eddie Howe did was absolutely incredible, and that's been kind of progressed on since they've returned back to the Premier League after Eddie Howe did relegate. I say he relegated them. It was a mix of COVID and lack of investment and kind of almost a horse running its last race. It was in its prime, and then it's time to say goodbye. And Eddie Howe did say goodbye when they were relegated. And both clubs have gone on. Both parties have gone on to excel since. You know, Bournemouth, since returning to the Premier League, have aimed for Europe, and obviously Eddie Howe has gone into Europe himself with Newcastle winning the League Cup as well. But certainly a weekend to forget for Eddie Howe and Newcastle after that Voltemada own goal. Did seem like a cracking atmosphere though at the Stadium of Light, as Manchester United have played 19 minutes in the second half and they've gone from 2-1 up to 3-2 down. Don't get me wrong, they've kind of settled the Bournemouth ship because they were cruising, but also kind of going forward at alarming paces in terms of trying to get another goal. They've kind of calmed that down as Bruno Fernandes on the right wing position has found some space. Can he get away from Senesi? No, he can't, because he slides in, but the kick away drops to Ahmad. back to Bournemouth, 25 yards from goal. Can he get the shot away? He can't. He lifts it out to the left to Dallo. Then forward from Mount. The angle's tight. The cross will have to be the best solution. And Senesi hurries the clearance away. Doesn't go out of play for the corner, but he boots it out for a throw-in instead. Certainly been Manchester United's best player for me, Mason Mount. And towards the byline, he was just about able to dink a left-footed ball in, and Cunha just had to commit more. He didn't. Ball went over his head. And eventually it was Senesi to clear. And here is Kobbie Mainoo. Introduced onto the pitch by Ruben Amorim. Fernandes, Cunha around the corner into Mbeumo, can't return it to the Brazilian. Semenyo, he loses out to Mainoo in midfield. Cunha from afar, thought about the shot, drives into the box instead, taken off him by Senesi, who's also been a pretty big rock at the back for Bournemouth, the Argentine. Made over 100 appearances now for Bournemouth. Marcus Senesi scored here 2 seasons ago in their 3-0 win. Back on the 9th of December 2023. Scored the 3rd goal to make it 3-0 in the second half. Marcus Senesi. His last goal was against Brighton at home back in April 2024. Of course, as a centre-back, you're not expecting him to score all the time. Cliver stopped on the halfway line by Fernandes, an important interception because Evan Ilson was making a run in behind. Mason Mount, he's got Cunha ahead of him making a run, finds him in the area. Mateus Cunha tries to go for the cross! And it almost catches Petrovic at the near post, who's had to tip it behind for a corner. Almost squeezed it in. On his left foot, off balanced. Oh, he's had to tip that onto the bar, and it's gone over. That I'm sure that was creeping in. Sure, there would have been a slight bit of fortune to that if it had gone in, but still to at least get a ball towards goal was the best that Cunha could have done. Fernandes, in-swinger, on top of the goalkeeper, who can just about get onto it in the end. And play stopped because there's a Bournemouth player down. I think it's Evan Ilson who's had his nose cut. Or is it Jimenez? I think it might have been Jimenez. Let's have a look. Ball went in right on Petrovic. It came off Yoro's thigh into Petrovic's arms. Or is it Smith? Adam Smith's the one down. I think he accidentally was caught on the head by Petrovic's knee. I think. As Manchester United are going to make a change, obviously showing that they need to score another goal, so they're going to bring on a centre-back. They've got some real patience in Ruben Amorim, Manchester United supporters, because I just don't understand this swapping the centre-backs stuff. I just don't. They are going to bring on an attacker, but I'm just going to guess these are like-for-like changes. This stubbornness to stick to the 3-4-3 means a lot of the time you're just swapping like-for-like. You know, it's just swapping a winger for a winger, a striker for a striker. There's no making the opposition guess your next move. They know the next move. It is frustrating watch sometimes. So it's Lenny Yoro to come off. Hadn't started the previous 2 against West Ham and Wolves, returning to the starting 11 tonight. He swapped out for Lisandro Martinez, who comes on for his 4th appearance of the season after recovering from an ACL injury, which kept him out for 9 months. And the second change, we'll see Mason Mount come off, which I think is unfortunate because he's probably been the better attacker for the home side, and he comes off for Sesko. So that means Sesko will, of course, go up front, and that means Cunha will drop into the number 10 role. Well, they've got 2 number 10s, haven't they? Kind of 2 offset wide 10s with Mbeumo and Cunha. Sorry, I didn't see that comment, what a strike that was. I'm assuming you mean in the free kick. And it was a great strike. It really was. Low, drilled. Goalie saw it late. Bournemouth certainly deserved their second half lead based off their second half performance. I think based off the first half, Manchester United were probably frustrated they weren't more than 1 goal up, really. think they were probably frustrated. They had to get back in front after conceding the equaliser. Manchester United asking for a handball after a Cunha attempt, which ended up deflecting to Mbeumo, who sent it absolutely flying over the crossbar. Remains 3-2. Simon Hooper waved it away. I'm going to guess VAR will have a quick check. VAR is Paul Howard tonight. Cunha, no. Off the arm of Alex Scott, but that was tucked right into him. And then Mbeumo flashed it over the crossbar. No way, that's handball. Comes off his elbow. But the biggest chance for me is the Mbeumo one. About 7 yards out on the turn. Needs to get that at least on target minimum. Less than 20 to play. Manchester United 2, Bournemouth 3. Luke Shaw heads it away. Sesko will chase. Diakite will get there first. Just kicks it out of play, taking no risks. Throwing for United, taken quickly to Bruno Fernandes. Shaw, back to Fernandes. Switching it to the right. Dalot. Dalot delivering towards Sesko. Header won by Diakite. Kept alive by Fernandes, who heads it out wide left towards Shaw. It'll be cleared away by Adam Smith. And it'll be Kluivert to chase it. It's going to just roll through a throw-in for Manchester United inside their own half. A win for Manchester United would have took them all the way up to 5th. They keep missing these chances to get towards the top 5 spots in the Premier League. Like in that draw against West Ham, they could have leapfrogged high up the table, but ended up drawing late. This time they're trailing, and Mbeumo loses it. This time, and then fouls his man of Kluivert. And that is a free kick for Bournemouth. Well won by Justin Kluivert. He's got 11 appearances for the Netherlands. His debut was in March 2018. His last appearance was in the most recent international break. Came through Ajax, then spent 5 years at Roma. Within that, he had loan spells at RB Leipzig, Nice, and Valencia. Funnily enough, Justin Kluivert was actually on the bench for Ajax on the night of their Europa League final defeat to Manchester United in 2017. Didn't come on the pitch, was just named as a substitute. As United have got it back with Kobbie Mainoo, trying to link up the play, going into his own half to find Heaven. There's been a switch up for Manchester United because Diogo Dalot is now playing as the right centre-back. So I'm not sure who's playing left wing-back for Manchester United. I think it'll be Luke Shaw. So I think it's Luke Shaw left wing back, Martinez left centre back, Heaven middle centre back, Dalot right centre back, and then Ahmad right wing back. So a little bit of changing around as Smith crosses into the box, and Luke Shaw's had to head behind. A vital header from Luke Shaw, who's been ever present this season for United. He started every Premier League game. Kluivert brought it down. Smith made the run ahead of him. Kind of the underlapping run. Just about kept it in, and on the 6-yard line, Shaw had to head behind because Semenyo was waiting for that. 17 minutes plus added on time left to play. I think it's going to be a right-footed in-swinger from Kluivert. Yes, when leading at half-time since May 1984, Manchester United have gone 393 games without losing when they were leading at half-time at Old Trafford. That record is massively in danger. Massively in danger. And that's a historic record they don't want to lose. In-swinger header won by Martinez. Volleyed unconvincingly by Mbeumo, but it drops nicely for Ahmad. And red shirts are fleeing forward. Ahmad beyond the halfway line, down the right-hand side. Fernandes goes over. Ahmad continues. Switches it to Mbeumo. Controls it on the edge of the area. Shaw's made the advancing run, but Mbeumo's gone nowhere near him with the pass. And it's a goal kick for Bournemouth. I'm not going to lie, I forgot about that half-time record Manchester United hold. In May 1984 is the last time that they've lost a game when leading at half-time at home. That is incredible. Honestly, if I'm hammering, I don't want to lose that record. Because it's just another thing that can be used against you when the tide goes against you. Which it feels like at Manchester United, that tide can turn against you at any given time. Evan Nilsson flicks on the long kick from Petrovic, straight to Heaven. Now Mainoo. Into Cunha. Fernandes to Mainoo. In between the lines for Sesko. Oh, it's good football. Mainu at the heartbeat of it. Sesko losing out, though, to Senesi. He's been an absolute brick wall at the back tonight. Marcos Senesi playing alongside Bafode Diakite, the Toulouse-born defender. Came through the Toulouse Academy. Diakite. From 2013 to 2022, he might have some defending to do as Cunha stings the gloves of Petrovic. It's parried. Still alive. There's a handball from Smith. Cannot believe that's gone against him. And it's right on the edge of the area. Similar distance to where Tavernier scored his free kick for Bournemouth early on in the second half to put Bournemouth 3-2 up. Cunha got away from Senesi. Hit it straight down the middle of the goal. Parried by Petrovic. And as Bruno Fernandes tried to control it, he kicked it. And Adam Smith's hands were out in an unnatural position. Touched his arm. Free kick for United. It's literally right on the edge of the box, just towards the left-hand side. So again, a nice angle for a right-footed shot. Bruno Fernandes is fancying this. He's got 4 Premier League goals so far this season. Scored a brace against Wolves last time out. Before that, he hadn't scored in his previous 9. But despite not scoring, Bruno Fernandes has been assisting. 6 assists so far this season. 2 against Palace and then the 1 against Wolves. Senesi goes in the book for Bournemouth, I think, after arguing with the referee Simon Hooper. His 6th booking of the season. For Senesi, who missed one of their more recent games against Everton due to that yellow card suspension, picking up 5 bookings. Bruno Fernandes, right-footed. Can he get them back level? Bruno Fernandes! That is superb off the bar and in. That record is still alive for Manchester United. When they are leading at the break at this place, they simply never lose. And they're back level after trailing for the first time in the game. 2 sensational free kicks at each end in this half have brought the game level. 3-3 at Old Trafford. It's Bruno Fernandes, like Tavernier, going to the goalkeeper's side. Oh, and it's absolutely brilliant. Curl, pace, bend, bit of everything. Too much of Petrovic. It's just off the underside of the crossbar and in. Even the best goalkeepers in the world don't save them. Petrovic with no chance. And that's what Manchester United needed. A moment of individual brilliance because the game had gone stale. And now it's well and truly alive thanks to Bruno Fernandes, who's now got 3 in his last 2 games in the Premier League. He is him. He is their man. He is their captain. And he's got it all square. It's Manchester United 3, Bournemouth 3. Absolute roller coaster of a game here at Old Trafford. As there's a change for Bournemouth. Evan Nilsson, who got their equaliser to make it 2-2, is replaced by Junior Krupit, their French forward, who's got 4 league goals himself this season. Scored 1 against Forest and Leeds and then a brace against Palace away back in the middle of October. Not scored in his last 6 though. Ellie Junior Krupit. Which way will this game sway? Class free kick. It was. We've had 2 now. That was probably the pick of the bunch though, I must admit. That is pure brilliance from Bruno Fernandes, who scores his 4th goal against Bournemouth in his 8th appearance against them. Sesko wants to square it. It drops to Mateus Cunha. And the comeback's complete the other way round. Just his 2nd goal for the club. And it's a goal to make it Manchester United 4, Bournemouth 3. Completely against the run of play. It's Mateus Cunha's turn to score. It's his 4th in 7 against Bournemouth. He was sent off against them last season after a headbutt on Kirkes. This time, he's let his football do the talking. There was a slice of fortune the way it landed to him, but the finish was calm and composed into the bottom left corner. Iriola trying to get his team to relax and go again, telling them there'll be another 15 minutes at least to play. There was a throw-in from Luke Shaw. Diakite headed away, but straight to Cunha, who headed it forward to Mbeumo, who was allowed to run forward. And Sesko then took over, tried to get it across to Ahmad. It was stopped by Trufair, but as Trufair stopped the ball to Ahmad, he played it right into the space for Cunha, who latched onto it, took one touch, and then simply couldn't miss from 8 yards out. Again, little Petrovic could have done there. Quite unlucky for Trufair, who's doing his best to stop the original ball, but instead he put it on an absolute plate for Cunha. And we've got a 7-goal thriller at Old Trafford. It's Manchester United 4, Bournemouth 3. Out of nothing, 2 goals in 2 minutes. And the game has been flipped on its head once more. Less than 10 minutes to play. I think for Bournemouth, not just the fact obviously that they're behind and they've got to try and score now to get a point, I just think mentally that will demoralise them very heavily. Lomans goes forward to Martinez. Fernandes, who started the comeback with his free kick into the top right corner. Goes for a long ball. It's a high one down the right-hand side, looking for Ahmad. Cut out by Trufair, this time successfully. Trufair on the floor, down the left side to Junior Krupi, who plays it into the middle to Kluivert. Tackled by Martinez, but straight to Tavernier. Alex Scott from afar fancies a shot and he drags it wide. Don't think it took a nick. And the referees give a goal kick. Alex Scott arguing his case. He thinks it's a corner. I don't think it took a touch, though. Iriola wants the corner kick as well. Rob Jones, the fourth official, just explaining that there was no deflection on it. More frustration for Andoni Iriola. In his first 9 games in the Premier League, when he first joined Iriola, they didn't win any of their first 9. Their first win came against Burnley in the end of October. And they're going through a similar run now. This is going to be 7 without a win. Just 2 wins in their last 12. And after going 8 unbeaten following their opening weekend defeat to Liverpool, I don't quite know where it's gone wrong for Bournemouth. They're not missing loads of players. Ryan Christie's out at the moment and Lewis Cook with a suspension, but nothing to turn any form this poor. And of course, Manchester United now will start to slow the game down, and I feel like they've earned the right to do that with the comeback. Unreal game. It's been a crazy game, completely unpredictable. Shaw throws it towards the corner flag to Fernandes, out-muscled by Alex Scott, who clears it forward. Header won by Heaven. Oh, as far as Tavernier, he's allowed to run forward, plays it down the right, and that is a shocking pass. They're trying to stay positive, Bournemouth. Semenyo giving it the thumbs up, but that is just a complete and utter waste, and he is frustrated with himself there, Marcus Tavernier, who kick-started the Bournemouth comeback with the assist for Evan Ilson, then his goal from the free kick. Scott winning it back in the midfield to the left-hand side to Jimenez. Ahmad doing his defensive work well, but he slips it through for Junior Krupi instead! And it's 4-4 at Old Trafford! The substitute, Junior Krupi, does not need a second invitation. He's barely had a touch of the ball, but the 19-year-old has ice in his veins. When most Bournemouth players begin to lose that hope they need, he is that fresh, young, energetic character they needed in this game. He's onside. Ahmad tried to stop the ball through, but it went into Junior Krupi, who squeezed himself in between Heaven and Martinez. Again, it is shocking defending from Manchester United. One touch with the right foot, finishing it with a left. bottom left corner, no chance for Senna Lomans. And this is the craziest game of the Premier League season. It's Manchester United 4, Bournemouth 4, and Junior Krupi off the bench bags another equaliser for Bournemouth. It's their third equaliser of the night. Will they go on and win it themselves? This is unbelievable. 5th goal of the season for Junior Krupi. And you just cannot, and you shall not, take your eyes off this game. Now Bournemouth again are energised. 5 minutes to go plus added on time. You just don't know who's going to score the next goal. And some of these goals, especially that, just out of nowhere, you just don't see that coming. Absolute scenes if there's a winner, whoever scores it. Home or away, there's limbs. Martinez with a unnecessary overhead kick clearance. It's sliced, it's gone out of play. Throwing for Bournemouth, taken quickly by Semenyo into the box. He tried to glance it on there, Jimenez, but he couldn't get enough contact. Thrown out by Lomans to Ahmad at right wing back. Lays it off behind him to Mainu. Then into the middle to Heaven. Fernandez. Architects of their own downfall half the time, Manchester United. Cunha finds a pocket of space in between the lines. Tries the 1-2 with Shaw. Goes off Smith, throwing for Manchester United, midway inside the Bournemouth half, thrown back towards halfway to Martinez. Goes into the middle to Mainu. Dallo. Out to the right flank to Ahmad. Facing up one-on-one with Jimenez. Onto that left foot. Mainu's trying to run around him. Doesn't use him. Crosses it in himself. Volleyed by Senesi. It's a hurried shot by Fernandez. Out it goes for a goal kick for Bournemouth. Not sure how much more Sir Alex Ferguson could take of this game, who's, of course, in attendance tonight. This is getting stupid. Love it. This is a stupid game of football. 100%. We've gone 1-0 Manchester United, then 1-1, then 2-1 Manchester United, then 2-2 right after half-time, then 3-2 to Bournemouth in the 52nd minute, and then 3-3 with the equaliser from Bruno Fernandes in the 77th minute. 2 minutes later, Matheus Cunha made it 4-3, and then 5 minutes later, Junior Krupi makes it 4-4. And we've still got 3 minutes plus added on time to go. Potential for someone to win this game of football. Mainu, bit of a short ball to Cunha, but he keeps it away from Diakite. And then Cunha in behind from Burmo Petrovic off his line though. Good goalkeeping. Confident goalkeeping. And he rolls it out to Alex Scott, who was an early substitute in this game after Tyler Adams had to come off early. Scott plays it behind Jimenez, who touches it away for a throw-in for Manchester United. And they're having to take the throw-in again because Ahmad took a quick throw-in and so did Diogo Dallo. It's now within Burmo. Back to goal. Tackled by Senesi. Scott. Forward to Semenyo. Plucks it out of the air. What a touch that is. Semenyo running away from Mainu. Tavernier on the left wing. Slowing it down. Don't feel like that's necessary. Truffert. Inside to Jimenez. Options in the middle. Doesn't go for the option in the middle. Tries to get it into the box. Headed back by Smith. To Clivert. Back through to Smith. Crosses. Header won by Mainu. Chested down by Scott. Who loses out to Sesko. Isolated up there, the Slovenian. Having to wait for some options, but they don't get there in time. He's tackled by Senesi. He lifts it out to the left to Tavernier. Forward to Junior Krupi. Lays it off to Jimenez. Chance here for Bournemouth. Spaces are opening up. Adam Smith on the overlap's been found in the box. Tries to cross. Well recovered there by Cunha. Doing his defensive duties. Plays it back into Martinez. Mainu. Then forward to Shaw, out to Martinez. And it's Manchester United on the ball as we are into the 90th minute of the game. Will we find a winner? I feel like the game deserves a winner, even though it would be very harsh on the team who don't win. Aid in heaven. who's yet to score for Manchester United, joined in January of this year from Arsenal for £1 million, just over. Dallo on the halfway line goes across to his left to Martinez. Into the middle to Mainu, allowed to drive forward with the ball. Touch is heavy, can poke it to Cunha, completes the 1-2. Then back to Cunha once more. 25 yards out, he's been allowed to shoot, dragged it, easy save for Petrovic. Don't want this game to end. Waste that though from Cunha after scoring the goal which he thought was going to win the game. 8 minutes of added on time at Old Trafford. Iriola wants to make changes and he will. 2 positive changes as well. The first one will see number 19 Justin Kluivert be replaced by number 23 Amin Adli, who they brought in for £25 million in the summer from Leverkusen. He was part of that double winning team of Leverkusen, winning the Bundesliga and the Cup in 2024. And the second change, we'll see David Brooks come on for Marcus Tavernier. No, it's not Adley. I thought it was Adley. It's not. James Hill, sorry. My mistake. So it's actually Kluivert and Tavernier off for Brooks and Hill. Bournemouth's number 23. Usually a defender, Hill. More used as a right back this season. But I think he might be used as part of the midfield for the ending of this game. As we played a minute and a half of the 8 added on, Semenyo is going to throw this ball into the box with that cannon of a long throw and he's got. It's a huge throw into the box, header won by Mainu, flicked out to the left by Scott to Truffert. Furthest wide is Junior Krupi, who can get the ball into the box with his right foot. What a ball that is. Header won though by Shaw. Still alive, brought down by Senesi, but all as far as Cunha. Slightly isolated, but gets around 3 Bournemouth shirts. Cunha drives away into the half of Bournemouth and switches it to the right to Ahmad. Bruno Fernandes is on the overlap. He finds him. Bruno Fernandes squares it across and no one commits. Too far away from Sesko and Mbeumo. And the chance goes away for the Red Devils. Brilliant marauding run to start the move from Cunha. Switch to Ahmad was what was needed. And then the overlap to Fernandes. But he's just put it too far ahead of Mbeumo and Sesko with too much power. Double change for Manchester United. Brian Mbeumo, probably his last minutes until going off to AFCON. He'll be replaced by Joshua Zirkzee. And Luke Shaw has also been replaced by number 13, Patrick Dorgu. So he's 2 up front for United. They want the winner as well. It's a Bournemouth throw-in. 5 minutes still left to play in this game, which has consisted of 8 goals. Thrown down the line into the United half by Adam Smith. Semenyo loses out to Dorgu. Back forward by Smith. Junior Krupi will put Aiden Heaven under pressure. Brooks kicks it onto the hand of Mainu. And that's a throw-in. That's a free kick for Bournemouth. After Mainu thought he had a throw-in, using his hands in the game. Yeah, it's quite unfortunate, but his arm is up, hand is up. Unfortunate. But Manchester United did get a similar one for the goal they scored on Adam Smith. The free kick for Bruno Fernandes was one for something very similar. So, in terms of consistency, you kind of had to give that, you feel, Simon Hooper. It's a chance to get the ball in the box again for Bournemouth. It's going to be their substitute, David Brooks, curling it in. Headed on by Zirkzee. Yeah, and Junior Krupi will let that roll for a corner on the near side. It's nervy. It's tense. It's exactly what you want from a Premier League fixture. 8 goals, 4 apiece. Both teams have been ahead. Both have had to equalise. It has had absolutely everything. And it's going to be another delivery in by David Brooks. In swinger. A deep one. Too deep. Glanced away by Mainu. And it will roll for a throw-in for Bournemouth on the opposite side. Does Semenyo have one more in him? I think he does. It'll be another long throw for Bournemouth. 3 minutes left to play. It's going to be a long throw for Antoine Semenyo, who has scored in this game. It was the second goal of the game. It made it 1-1. Thrown towards the near post. Headed won by Dallo. Headed away. Bowling as far as Semenyo. Spins away from Ahmad. Lays it off to Jimenez. Right-footed. Cross. Great ball in! What a save from Lomans! Oh, David Brooks thought he'd won it. It's still on. Jimenez again. On the outside of Dallo. Into the box. Brooks! Towards Semenyo. He's overhit it. Cleared. Huge opportunity for Bournemouth. Headed back forward by Smith. Header away from heaven. Cunha helps it on. Senesi with the touch, but Cunha's committed a foul in the build-up. Catching Smith, who's holding his face. What a save from Lomans. Inviting ball in from Jimenez. Brooks threw himself at it with the diving header. Oh, if it's just slightly more in the corner, it goes in. He's just headed it just too central towards goal. If he can just guide that to the near post, it's a goal 100%. But still, he had to make the save, and he did. It's going to be a free kick for Bournemouth. The referee wanting the medical staff on to get this game restarted. The medical staff have to come on because there's blood. Adam Smith is absolutely fuming. Cunha must have obviously caught at Adam Smith. Adam Smith claiming the elbow was used. So he's had to come off just to clean the blood. A minute to go. This could be it. David Brooks, who's been quite the impact since coming on. Crosses in towards Diakite. Glanced away by Heaven. Hit by Senesi. Held by Lomans. Rolls it to his right to Bruno Fernandes. Launches it forward. Big kick. Bounces through. What a waste. Straight to Petrovic, who will pick the ball up. Less than 30 seconds to go. He's got to hurry up here, Petrovic, because the referee will, I'm sure, be starting to count down how long he's had it in his hands for. Kicked up into the air, into the United half, headed forward by Mainu. It's going to be seen out by Hill, who will let it roll. I think Bournemouth are happy with the point here. Could have had 3. Both teams could have had 3 at one point, for sure. We've played the 8 minutes added on. Adam Smith's back on the pitch to take the throw-in. Throw goes down the line. Headed on by Semenyo, straight out of play. Throw-in for Manchester United. I don't think we'll have time for another attack, which is a shame, because I just feel like this game deserves a winner. Booted forward by Martinez. Headed away by Truffet. Well, as far as Bruno Fernandes. We've played 30 seconds extra. Ahmad on the right. Dallo's overlapped. Dallo's been found. Dallo crosses to the far post. Dorgu across. Volleyed by Semenyo. Fernandes to Ahmad. Into the path of Dallo. Dinks it in. Header won by Senesi. Mainu lifting it towards Dorgu, who's in an offside position. Ball rolls out for a goal kick. And still we continue at Old Trafford. We played a minute extra. I don't know where he's got this from. Maybe the Adam Smith pause, actually. But I don't think there'll be much more to play after this. Into the 100th minute of the match. Petrovic with the goal kick. Kicks it long. Still we play. Header won by Dorgu, controlled by Brooks. Gets around Dorgu with the nutmeg, then plays it inside to Semenyo. The body's over. Semenyo, can he pick the right pass? David Brooks, he's saved on the rebound. It's cleared. Oh my word. Bournemouth nearly win it at the death. Senesi back forward, cleared by Dallo. Manchester United's turn to attack. Cunha stopped in his tracks by Scott. It's now with Ahmad running at true fair. Onto his left foot. Needs to cross it. Goes back to Dallo, who crosses himself towards Dorgu. Header won by Smith. The referee blows the whistle. And everyone has chance to breathe. Wow. What a game at Old Trafford. It's a point apiece. It could have been a whole lot more for both. It's just 2 wins now in 7 Premier League games for Manchester United. It's 0 wins in 7 for Bournemouth. It is back-to-back draws for them, so they're picking up points again. But they're struggling to win games. Both of these teams are struggling to win games. But overall, a draw is probably the fair result come the end of that match. It was an absolute roller coaster of a game. It started with a goal from Ahmad in the 13th minute, heading home from a yard out after a Dallo cross wasn't dealt with by Petrovic. 5 minutes before the break, Anton Semenyo made it 1-1, allowed to run through the Manchester United defence, shooting a cross goal off the post and in, making it 1-1. And right before the break, in the 4th minute of added on time, Casemiro from a Bruno Fernandes corner headed home at the far post to give Manchester United the lead at the break. But straight after the break, 38 seconds in to the second half, Evan Nilsson got his 2nd goal of the season, his first since the end of August. He scored after a good touch and finish, and it was quickly 3-2 to Bournemouth. 7 minutes later, Marcus Tavernier with a free kick, which he won off Casemiro, and he buried into the bottom left corner, beating Senna Lomans. And after that, it went a bit dull, the game. Bournemouth was settling with their 3-2 lead, but that was cut out with a Bruno Fernandes free kick of his own into the top right corner. A free kick he also won off his own back. And then just 2 minutes later, Cunha thought he'd got the winner. True fair, intercepting a cross, but it fell straight to the Brazilian, who latched onto the ball and buried it into the bottom left corner. I thought that was that for the goals, but substitute Ellie Junior Krupi had different ideas. Just 19 years of age, being played through in the box. He took a touch of his right foot, curled it into the left-hand side of the goal with his left foot, and gave Bournemouth another equaliser, their 3rd equaliser of the night. And Bournemouth almost won it at the death with 2 huge chances from David Brooks. The first one was a crossing from Jimenez. It was a header from Brooks straight down the middle of the goal, which was saved by Lomans. And another chance he had at the end there, and it was another save parried away by Lomans. It's 8-goal thriller in the Premier League. It's finished Manchester United 4, Bournemouth 4, and it's a 4.5-hour trip back home for Bournemouth, but my word, they'll have plenty of talking points in that one. It's Manchester United who are now dropped into 6th position, just 2 points behind Chelsea in 4th. For Bournemouth, they do remain in the bottom half of the table. They're on 21 points now, just 2 points off 10th place, which is Brighton and Hove Albion. 2 struggling teams who seem to find the net but can't seem to stop it going in their own net, and they've just cooked up an absolute Premier League classic. And what a game that is. I am genuinely exhausted after that game. I love that. Honestly, what a game. Great commentaries, mate. Thank you very much. Like I say, my commentaries aren't as often. I'm trying to get them more often now because I've got a bit more free time. My next commentary I'm going to try and do is again next Monday. Monday night games just seem to work for me in terms of getting my notes prepared for the games. So my next one is more than likely going to be next Monday, 8 o'clock again, when Fulham host Nottingham Forest. So that should be a tasty little game. 2 teams again who aren't having the best of starts to the season but are starting to pick up a little bit more form. But thank you for watching. If you did enjoy, make sure you like and subscribe if you have not already. As here at the Theatre of Dreams, we have been given a play of all plays in the Premier League. Manchester United leading 2-1 at half time, but with them trailing 7 minutes into the second half after goals from Evan Nilsson and Tavernier. Bruno Fernandes quickly equalised with 13 minutes to play, and then 2 minutes later, Cunha got what he thought was a winner. But Junior Krupi had different ideas, burying it with 6 to play, and then in added on time, David Brooks had 2 massive opportunities to win it for Bournemouth at 5-4. 2 big saves from Sema Lomans has kept it all square as at Old Trafford. It finishes on this Monday night after a manic 90-minute game of football. It has ended Manchester United 4, Bournemouth 4.